And welcome back, everyone, to Box Office Report today on the 21st of April 2024. I had to remember the month. I didn't get the box office right. I actually assumed that Abigail or Ministry would be over Civil War, and I was wrong. Civil War managed to hold on to the #1 spot this week. It dropped 56%, though, making just over $11 million. Abigail debuted a little over $10 million. Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire made around what I thought, 9.4-ish. Mystery of Angelic Warfare debuts with 9 million in fourth place. And then Spy X Family Code White, which I always forget the anime films will always usually kind of pop into the top 5 if you're not careful. So, yeah, that happened. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Just, So, Civil War made another $11 million. Now, 49 million, I believe I checked last week. In fact, I'll check right now again. Civil War's box budget is like 50 million, right? Civil War movie. It is on a $50 million budget. That's right. So, again, if I were to do the math real quick here, you're looking at a film that probably has about 25 million, maybe 30 in marketing. So then you're looking at a film that has to hit 111, like 110 to 120, something like that, to break even. Even if I lowball at like 75 million, that means you're still looking at a film that has to hit in the neighborhood of 110 to break even. Do not know if this film's going to do that. I really don't think it is. A24, granted, doesn't usually make big box office films. They don't usually do that. In fact, they don't do that. The films definitely are a bit more introspective, a little bit more out there sometimes, like an Ex Machina or a Everything Everywhere All at Once. So the company is one of the few companies that really isn't making films a lot of time to make their money back, although they want to. They're making it more for the prestige, and they make good films, so they got that prestige. I just don't think the prestige is going to carry this film, at least from the company, because it's not about the company, it's about the movie itself. And the movie, while has a good rating, I don't think is going to be drawing a lot of people back. We already just saw it drop 56% this week. That's not a small drop. I mean, it's a little above where you want the average to be, but it's not as bad as it could have been. I thought it was going to drop more, to be honest. But that doesn't really matter if it can't hit its goal. It's not even at 50 million yet. And we got Challengers, the new Zendaya film, coming out this week. Then you go into Fall Guy to really kick off the summer movie season. So I don't see this film doing well. Like, long term, I don't see it doing well. Because it's not a film, I think, it brings a lot of people back to the theater. I haven't watched it myself, and I don't intend to. But at least from the subject matter and everything I've heard, this doesn't seem like a film that a lot of people are going to continue to go back to the theater to go watch. So that's going to hurt it quite a bit. Abigail, a film I did want to go out to see, but I didn't get around to it this week, unfortunately. I made 10.2 million, 15 million worldwide. What is Abigail made on? Let's find out. Abigail, there we go. Oh, Abigail. Abadabadoo. 28 million. All right. It is made on, and I think this is a Blumhouse production. It's Universal, so I think it's Blumhouse. So on a $25 million budget, 10.2 is not bad. Unlike a lot of the other films out right now, this film has no real clear-cut competition. This is very similar to the Kung Fu Panda thing, where there is no real contender for its demographic of film right now in theaters and for the next week or two. Unfortunately, Tarot comes out not this week, but the following week. So that will take whatever momentum it's got going, in good faith it's got going, out of the equation. Which, one second here, let's actually look up what Abigail right now is doing at not the box office, but at the tomatoes. What is the tomatoes? Let's find out, shall we? Abigail currently stands at Challengers got good reviews. That's good. Where are you, Abigail? Abigail, 83%. That's straight up. That's a good review. That's just the critics. Again, obviously it comes down to more what the audience thinks, but if this movie's as fun as it looked, which from everything I've heard, it mostly is, this film might have enough legs to get over the break-even marker, which is good, because, a lot of theaters could use it. Studios could use it. Theaters could use it. This film probably has to hit we never really got more than the first trailer, and like a few clips, so maybe 20 million in marketing. So you're looking at a film. If it can hit 70 million, it'll be good. That is a bit of a tall order, but they can't all be winners. But speaking of winners, Godzilla x Kong: New Empire made 9.4 million this week, dropping again only 39.2. Stands at $485 million, which worldwide, which makes it the third highest grossing film in the MonsterVerse, because it's now higher than Godzilla King of the Monsters and Godzilla vs. Kong. Surpassed that. It still has a ways to go to match. It's not going to beat Kong Skull Island, which is, I believe, at 560. Or is that the original Godzilla? I can never remember. One of them is like 550, 560. Where the other one's more like 516, 520, something like that. I think this film's going to hit 500 million. I do think that. At 15 million left, it's still got a little bit left in the international. Probably not a lot, but a little. And it's going to probably be able to pull at least another, if I do the math, day to day, that's probably about 2-ish million and another 2-ish million. It's probably still got another 10 million plus at the box office, domestically at least. Yeah, I think this film will definitely hit the $500 million mark. And again, good for it. This is an example of a film that doesn't necessarily need to be good by like the metric of good storytelling, whatever, but you just need to entertain and give audiences an experience, and a positive one. And this film did that. And so it means we'll definitely see more MonsterVerse stuff coming. This film is I think the second highest grossing film right now of 2024. I'll double check that when I look at Kung Fu Panda. Ministry of Gentlemanly Warfare debuts with $9 million. It only currently has $9 million. A film I liked. Could have been a little bit more balanced, I think, but I liked. Let's see here. The Ministry of Gentlemanly Warfare. Where are you? There you go. You can tell I've been looking these things up lately. Okay, so that budget of $60 million, which isn't large by Hollywood standards, but if you're not opening to even a third of that, that's problematic. This is unfortunately going to be another film that is going to be a loss. It's going to be a big wash. And that sucks. I guess the question we have to ask ourselves is is what went wrong, or why didn't no one want to go see it? And I can think of a couple reasons. One, maybe people just aren't really into these types of films. Guy Ritchie lately, except for Aladdin, Guy Ritchie really hasn't been doing the most, amazing movies as of late. And I checked. This movie has a 73% of Rotten Tomatoes. It's got a good score. But they're not movies that generally attract audiences, unfortunately. Beyond that, and I'll say this, I liked the trailer. Trailer I thought was good. It's really the only one we got. We got slightly different variations on it, but we never really got a true different trailer to it to keep marketing the movie with. To be fair, I don't know how else you would market the movie, to be honest. So that could have played a factor, but we've seen, legitimately, we have seen with movies that you do not do a lot of marketing with, that you don't change up the trailers that much with, and if I'm just like using this year as an example real quick, with Mean Girls. It barely made its money back. With Madam Web, bombed. With Argyle, bombed. Did not do well at the box office at all. Is there anyone else I can think of at the top of my head right now? Ghostbusters did give 2 different trailers. It didn't do god awful, but it's not doing the best. It's not making its money back, but it still made more than those films did. Point being, if you do not really put the time and care into your marketing, you are going to suffer. Now, luckily, because it was really only one trailer, just done a couple different times in a slightly different variant or shortened down, and there's probably barely a marketing budget on this. Probably 20 to 30 million at most. So that's the good news. The bad news is it only made 9 damn million this week. So take that for what it's worth. Spy and Family Code White. 4.8 million, 51 million worldwide. Just not much to say. Crunchyroll actually does very well with these very limited releases. They already made the movie that was going to go to streaming or a service, and instead they're going to be like, hey, here's this small amount of money, put it in the screens for a little while, we'll rake our money back. And they do it. So it's really quite a profitable endeavor for them. Okay, Kung Fu Panda 4. This is what I need to find. 4.6 million this week. Good for it. $480 million. Yep. Right now, Godzilla and Kong, X-Kong New Empire is the second highest grossing film of the year. But should not take away from the fact that Kung Fu Panda has made $480 million. You can't take that away. You shouldn't take that away. Good for Kung Fu Panda. Again, it's probably not going to be like, it's probably still, I think, the lowest grossing of all four of them. But it's also, I think, arguably the most profitable of them because it's made on the lowest budget. And it's still making money. So again, I'm just going to be rinse repeating this whole time. But that's what happens when you actually do See, this is one of the examples of they really didn't do a different trailer, but the audience was there. That's the thing. So yeah, that's more of an exception to the rule, though. There was far more examples of it not working than it working. Either way, good for Kung Fu Panda. Will it make will cross the 500 million? Right now, I'm inclined to say yes. But unlike Godzilla and Kong, where it's still got a couple more weeks of domestic that you can rake in, like at least another 10 million domestically you can rake in minimum, maybe even 15 to 20. And granted, you're going to be talking about like running on fumes at that point. Kung Fu Panda is really, really low on the totem pole for how much more it's got left in the tank. And we're getting now into the movie season. I also got to speed this up a bit because I'm now low on battery. We're also getting into the movie season, so now its competition is going to creep up faster and faster. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, 4.4 million, $176 million, still not profitable. We've gone over multiple times why that didn't work. Dune Part 2, $2.9 million. $695.7, so $96 million. Can it hit the $700 million mark? Oh my God. Attention is palpable. Because we're talking about per weekend now. Yeah, I think it's going to hit, it's only not even 5 million away. Yeah, it's going to do 700 million. That's fantastic for Warner Brothers. Monkey Man. Sucks it didn't do that well, but 2.2 million, 28 million. Okay, hold on one second. Made on a $10 million budget. It probably has to, like I said, hit 45 million. Unless the international really kicks in for it, it's not going to be able to make its money back. First Omen, 1.7 million. Speaking of movie not making its money back, 45 million. It's made on about 30. It's not doing it. There's not much else actually really to go over. The Long Game, Shrek 2. Yeah, there really isn't anything else to go over this weekend. So yeah, pretty light weekend. There was still at least 40 to 50 million in the overall box office this week, so not god awful. This coming week, the only real wide release we have is Unsung Hero, which I know nothing about, which tells me it's not getting a big release, and then Challengers, which is the new one, which will probably be number one this week. So I'll go Challengers. I'll go. That's a good question. Challengers. Godzilla and Kong. Then I'll go Abigail, Civil War, and then Ministry. This is going to be a weird. Once you get this low and this close, it gets weird. But yeah, that's my guess. Challengers, Godzilla, Abigail, Civil War, Ministry on Vigilante Warfare. We'll find out next week, though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. What did you think of the box office? Why did some films not perform as well as we thought? Let me know in the comments below. But until then, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.